Hey everybody, welcome to part two of my Bee Gees vinyl collection. I haven't acquired two heads since I did the last video. This is my wife. Yeah, that's fine. It's weird shooting videos. Say hi, dear. Hi, dear. Anyway, so my daughters were in one of my earlier videos from earlier today, and she's like, "I'm in a video." So you're in a video, honey. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Say hi to everybody there.
Hi.
Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to show the second part of what I have for Bee Gees records. So I gotta, whoops, let me fix this so I can see me. Put this here. All right, ooh, let's get right to it because YouTube only allows us a little bit of time, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, they went to a record label called RSO, which you can see on right there.
Isn't that the one with the cow?
Yeah, the Cash Cow. Yeah, Robert Stigwood organization who managed Robert Stigwood managed the Bee Gees in the 60s and the early 70s. He started his own record label, and when he started him, he took the Bee Gees and Eric Clapton and a few other people. Anyway, Life in a Tin Can, a nice, an interesting record. It's got just the way that it's made. It's just got an interesting texture. It actually kind of feels like a tin can the way it would be raised, and this piece right in here is a separate piece of cardboard. So it's kind of a cool record. No hits off this record, unfortunately, but it was the last record that kind of sounded like an old Bee Gees album from the 60s and early 70s. Mr. Natural, 1974. This was the first time they started doing that kind of falsetto-y, almost sounding like a girl, but really a lot of other groups, Stylistics, and a lot of other soul groups were doing it already. Nothing new. This actually is a sealed copy that I have. No real big hits off this record either, but it's a good record. This is where the hits started to come. Main Course, 1975. Jive Talking was on here, and Nights on Broadway was on here, and Fanny was on here. It's when they kind of came back, and they came back big. 1976, Children of the World. This record had 3 more hits, I believe, off this, it's kind of this album and Main Course are kind of like interchangeable almost. You could, play them back to back and think it's almost one record because it's kind of the same style. It is the same style. It's a very good record for them. Now we get into RSO wanted to make some money off of the earlier Bee Gees stuff, so this is a record I think my wife and her parents even had way back when. Did you guys have this one? Was this the one or was it an earlier one? Maybe it was an earlier one.
Is that the one with Mr. Jones or?
No.
Which one is that?
Oh, that has it on here. But
yeah.
The New York City mining disaster. But yeah, this was a compilation, a best of from 1967 through 72. And it was a really good record. This actually has I'll show you this really quickly. Has Bee Gees, still has the Bee Gees fan club. Would you like to sign up for the Bee Gees fan club? Yeah. Today you mail this in and they'll send you all kinds of neat stuff. I don't think so. But anyway.
I wonder if it's still there. Wouldn't it be something?
Yeah, it would be something. They're still waiting for your mail, honey.
Yeah.
Anyway, we saw this record in the last video, but this is a reissue of Odessa. It doesn't have the velvet cover, and it's a single album. They claim they took the best songs from Odessa and repackaged them. What the deal was is Odessa was a double record. They didn't feel they were going to make a lot of money. People wouldn't rebuy it, so they repackaged it. So, but this is still a good record. One of these dollar bin deals I found in a record store in good shape. Keep moving here. Live at Last, the first Bee Gees record live. If I keep telling stories about records, I'm not going to have enough time to finish this video, but Robert Stigwood, they were in the middle of recording an album, and Robert Stigwood said, "Hey, I'm making a soundtrack. What do you got?" And they showed him, and he took it all. That was their album. It ended up being the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. All those songs. They needed to do something, so they pulled together a live record because the record company was saying, "Yeah, we took all your music for your next album, but we want a record from you now. So here you go, Here at Last." And it's a good live record. Saturday Night Fever, there's not much to really say about this one. You know, I'd like to have a penny for every one of these that were sold. That's all I'm asking. Millions of copies of this sold. Bee Gees wrote pretty much everything on here with the exception of a few songs. Even if they didn't sing them, they still wrote it. Next thing, 1978. The movie bombed. It was a weird, odd movie. Even if you were a Beatle fan, I didn't care for it that much. But this Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, the Bee Gees are all over this.
I got that for Christmas when I was in middle school.
She got that for Christmas in middle school, and that was probably about the time that it actually came out. So 78-ish. Yeah, that would be when you were in middle school. We're getting old.
About 78,
Anyway,
79.
yeah. So anyway, a lot of people on this record. The Bee Gees, Peter Frampton was on this. Aerosmith's on here. Just a lot of people are on this record. Again, the soundtrack's great. The movie bombed for a reason. There was also a movie called All This in World War II that came out in 1976 that I believe had the Bee Gees. Similar concept. Just a bunch of people covering Beatles songs and they put it onto a soundtrack. Well, anyway, 1979, Spirits Having Flown. The critics bombed this one when it came out. It only had 3 #1 songs off of it. It sold multi-millions, like 30 million copies or something. I don't know. 3 million, I think it was. Something like that. A lot of copies. They, the critics now are like, this is a really good album. Shows what critics know. It was a really good record back in 79. Okay, even though it was disco. It was a good record. 1980. Remember when this one came out? I bought it when it came out. A double album of its greatest hits record. It only has stuff from 75 through 79. But it's still a really good record. I think, yeah, they re-recorded Andy Gibbs, an Andy Gibbs song, which they had written for him anyway. They re-recorded it and used it as a single off of this. So, 1981, disco was dead. And unfortunately, the Bee Gees started to die too. Living Eyes was a really good record. The only problem with this record was the hit single. It wasn't a hit. He's a Liar. It bombed in the United States. This isn't a bad record, but it just kind of, I don't know. Commercially, they just weren't. People weren't into them in the United States anymore. They just the nail in the coffin though for them in America at first was this: Staying Alive, a soundtrack to a movie that bombed. Horrible movie, honestly. The soundtrack really wasn't all that good either. But if you're a Bee Gees fan, you gotta kind of have that in your collection too. 1983 for that. They were writing songs. A lot of people were having hits with their songs. Barbra Streisand had a #1 hit. Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton. That song "Islands in the Stream." Bee Gees wrote that, played on it. People just didn't want to hear them singing. They just wanted to hear their songs, apparently. Anyway, ESP. This isn't a great record. I don't believe it's. Anyway, 1987. A song called "You Win Again," which actually wasn't a bad song. It started to at least get them some airplay on the radio in the United States again. And their career got better as far as fan base in the United States from that point on. They deserved it. I mean, disco was not their fault. Not that I have a problem with disco. But them and like Donna Summers really took a big hit. 2 last things. These are horrible. No other way to look at them. But they're funny. They're so bad that they're good. These are like compilations of other people doing Bee Gees songs. And kind of K-Tel kind of. Not K-Tel, but same idea. Ronco presents. Really bad. But really good. In a bad way. Well, anyway, that's my Bee Gees collection. Hopefully this isn't too long. Say bye, dear.
Bye, dear.
Bye, dear. Until next time, everybody. Peace and love.